Greetings and welcome. I'm just going to get some things adjusted here. I am Rebecca Carner, Biofield tuner, and truly humble rider of the rock, co co-traveler, co-cosmonaut in this time that we are calling 2025. Today's tuning is a special that is really born in specific from the past 2 weeks of my life and is also, I think, serving a call that is coming from all points around me right now, from people in all sorts of walks of life and of transitions and understandings and evolutions. The topic today, the movement today, is what in the world is integration any old way? How does one do it? What the hell? What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on for anybody? And how do we do this, friends? How do we do this? The preciousness of that question, and each and every person with whom I speak that is having their personal version of that is so in my heart. And so this video is my being with all that I bring, with all that I've learned, and with all of my best tools, my being with each person who ever watches this video, and holding the space and building the energetic container that is a safe harbor for anybody who is seeking a place to integrate and begin the living understanding of something that they've just been through. Let's call it like that. I'm going to talk a lot today in abstractions because energetics, living energetics, are by their very definition, something alive is a moving target. If there were a prescription, if there were some bullet-pointed recipe that anybody had ever stumbled upon that worked every time, things would be going a lot better and a lot easier, and people would be feeling awesome sauce, and they're not. Because as individuals and as individual fractals of source intelligence, our unique flavor, our unique brand is unique. It is singular to us. And so somebody else's recipe, it might come close and it might help us down the road, but it's not going to be a one-for-one match. But the energetics, the intention of endeavoring to integrate something, that is a clear signal that can be supported in its unique expressions. Okay. There will be more words, but let's start. Let's start right there. So arriving into your breath, arriving into your body. Hmm. And acknowledging that if you were called to this video and find yourself watching any measure of it, you are trying to draw more deeply into your lived experience and your lived expression, some part of some experience that has happened to you. Right. That's right. That's right. Excellent. Excellent. So much of what integration really means is drawing whatever you've experienced, whatever you've learned, whatever you've attempted to onboard, simply drawing it gently into the reverberance of the chamber of your body. That's right. And the way that we can do that is with breath. There are so many ways to digest. There are so many ways to metabolize and experience information. But as one of my very important teachers, Eileen McCusick, has often said, you can go a really long time without eating, and you can go a pretty long time without drinking, but you can only go at maximum minutes without breathing because it is integral to life and to being in a way that we are, the deepening of our understanding of that has just begun. You know, we thought we nailed it with the whole oxygen transfer thing, but it's far, far, far broader and far, far more expansive than that, friends. Nice. Wow, the amount of emotion, energy and motion, emotion, the amount of emotion in the field is profound right now. I can feel it on my skin. I can feel it in my emotional body. Thank you for joining. Thank you for seeking the support that you need. I really hope this helps. And because my intention is simply to be here to hold this container, it can only help because for those to whom this is resonant, it will help. That's how intention, that's how focus, that's how love works. That's how love works. Oh, good keep. Breathe. Breathe. Mm. Nice. Mm, mm, mm. And I'm really going to ground this. Thank you. Thank you. I'm really going to ground this into the present moment. Because that's where integration happens, is always in the now, and then in the now, and then in the now, and then in the now. I to anybody who's ever met me, this will come as no surprise, but I have a lot of words. I can really talk about a thing. I can really talk about everything. And so in oh so Rebecca Way, in preparations and contemplations for this video, I thought of so many ways to speak into this, so many poetic metaphors, so many ways of the recent work that I have been witness to, that this could appeal and make sense to various people that I have been near lately. Thanks, Susan. I love you too. I love you too, girl. And every time I'd think of a way, I'd think of it and then kind of scrap it. Or I'd think of it and think, yeah, yeah. And then I think, oh, but that wouldn't fit for, so and so, or that wouldn't fit for the thing that I saw here or there. And this fits better, right? And it was just layer upon layer, peel upon peel of these different ways. And then I realized as always, it will be about speaking less and getting less granular and less specific and speaking in abstractions, which can somehow sort of leave people in the dust sometimes, but it is the only way to build a big enough container on this public platform to hold the energy showing up. Yep. Yeah. Right, the movement there. So I thought, as with all integration, it is about being able to learn how to hold what's coming up and how it's coming up for you in your experience and be with it, right? And so rather than prepping some perfectly crafted metaphor or allegory to teach into this space in this video, that I was just going to show up and abstractly model real-time integration and the movement of that as best I could. And right now it was interesting because I felt like I was receiving through my back, right? Like a perfectly temperatured breeze had just sort of bolstered me and pressed into my back in a way that brought comfort, and I breathed into my backspace, right? We do not want to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We don't want to carry shells on our back. The receiving of a thing, so much receiving, so much profound consolidation actually comes from this sort of unseeable space. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And in a culture and in a paradigm and in a mindset where, quote, you have to have eyes on the back of your heads, never let them see you sweat, have eyes in all directions, always see it coming, that is antithetical to that. That goes against those signals, that noise. Yeah. And, but that's what integration in the individuated energy signature, that's what it necessitates, right? Is being able to discern on a deeper sense than topical vision that this is right for me, and the allowing of it to alight into you. I have had the profound honor of being engaged for 2 weeks straight in incredibly deep, incredibly transformative small group work in person in the greater Atlanta area. And my experience as being a human with an open heart in the room, as well as a co-facilitator in that space, has changed me forever. And the range of experiences that I was witness to, and the earnestness and the totality with which each person showed up to that container and that space is, in effect, what prompted this integration special. I have another video from I think some years ago about integration special, but this one is different because the energies that are expressing themselves and that are available to us and the way people are showing up to themselves and their lives in the world right now is hitting different, friends. Yes, it is. 2025 style is different. And while this video and the frequencies and the container and the energetics therein will help no matter when you find this video, it was incepted and initially transmitted in 2025 because shit be hitting different. And so this is my best and most updated effort. Shh, shh, yeah. Okay, okay. So other than the breath, the other way to get something in the body is let's wiggle it out. Like let's shoo-wee. Oh, it's like I had to put down the forks. Like kind of imagine yourself like one of those things outside the tire store, those that kind of cheese string guy on a on an air generator. Like living energetics are fluid. Things can turn on a dime in nature, but generally speaking, there is, right, yeah, that's one of the things that I had to talk about, right? The substrate, right, okay, here we go. Ooh, the substrate, the underlying fabric of energy has an undulating quality, right? If you imagine water that has some air movement on top of it, so it's not choppy, right? But it isn't that sort of glass still. And there are so many peaks and valleys, right? If you imagine light dancing on calm-ish, but nonetheless moving water. That is the underlying substrate quality of living energetics. Always. There is a concept around still point healing, and there is sort of a source point. Yes, it's true, but in that sort of ironical paradoxical way of energy. There is such a thing as still point, and yet everything is always moving. Oh, yeah, because there's that. Uh, so if you, the scientific field of making frequency visible is called cymatics, cymatics, cymatics. And the sort of most well-known visuals of that is that they put a white medium on a black plate and run frequencies through the plate, and at different hertz, at different frequency intervals, the medium, which I'll call sand because it looks like white sand, takes on different shapes. And they're quite lovely. But all right, so here's the black plate, right? And they have an electrical node that is attached to it, and you put the white sand on it, and they'll start a vibration, and it'll make a pattern that are, sort of often snowflake-like, right? In their visual. And then when you change, yeah, a lot of heat just released. And that is a pattern, right? So many people talk about identifying their patterns, changing their default patterns. Addiction is a pattern, pain is a pattern, ancestral legacy, familial abuse is a pattern. They're all just patterns, right? Of signals of frequency and vibrations and feelings and emotions through time as transmitted into the collective field and from person to person. Breathe. Wow, these forks don't come to be used together very often. This is my 174 and my 528. And here they are. When you detach from the story of a thing and imagined whatever the pattern that you're dealing with, like medium representing a shape on a plate, sand on a plate, that's what we're looking at. Wow. Phew, right? Yeah. Like, you guys, I want to give everybody credit for those who grokked what I just said. Like, that's master level engagement. Bravo. The caliber and quality and depth of intention of the people who are showing up to this work lately is just jaw-dropping. Golly. It is a privilege and an honor to be here now and to work with you guys. God, it's magnificent. You are magnificent. You're doing it. Okay. I digress. It's just really overwhelming. The peals of heat. You guys, the temperature differential in this room is stunning. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thanks for being here. Wow. Okay. So now we're back to the plate with the white sand on it. When we change the frequency, which is what healing is, which is what work is, which is what noticing is, which is what self awareness is, which is what self actualization is, you are changing. You are changing. Whoo! It got to be about 120 degrees in here. Okay. That's right. That's change. That's change. That's healing. That's comprehension. That is understanding arriving into the system. So that makes all the grains of sand change in their undulating substrate movement from a pattern that had been resonating to a new one. And if you were to close up and look at each little hopping grain of sand, you'd think, yeah, man, it went from to and so, of course, it's going to undulate differently. Yeah, that's real easy to say in abstraction. That's real easy to notice and to be with when it's sand. When that's your fucking life, that shit hit different, okay? It's terrifying. It hurts. Also, I mean, I am just sweating. Also, if you imagine like the whole globe is one plate filled with a gabillion, or I don't know, however many are we, 8 billion, 80 billion something humans, right? And that's not accounting for like the whales and the dogs and the plants. Oh, wait, and then Earth isn't the only planet or and the sun isn't the only star, right? So we are changing our frequencies on our individual plates because that's in this moment all we have agency over, such as we understand it right now. Mhm. And so when you change, that also puts you in a different sort of attractor zone and radio station stratosphere, if you want to think of it that way, as you were before. So then people who are resonant, experiences that are resonant with that also start kicking up. Also, as you transition, just like the individual grain of sand on your plate, as you and then other plates are shifting in this then collective field, those that are resing out, right, resonating away as you move it can kick off some blowback from where things have been. And so, like a lot of people who were in the small group work that I was a party to, I literally watched them change their resonant, consolidated, energetic experience of themselves, and then pretty much walked out of that group work and literally were assaulted by people still stuck in the old pattern. And that is an affront to a newly resonating system that is deep and profound. And for me, really heartbreaking to watch. And yet, to then realize I just sort of differentiated myself vibrationally. I got walloped with some old school crap. But I'm going to hold here to watch that then be true. It doesn't diminish the assault or the energetic affront, but then to watch that person choose to maintain their newly found and newly gained relationship with self, that is integration. I wish it were more beautiful. I wish it were more pink, fluffy rainbow and experience. But the fact is that where we've been and where we're going, that's going to be a part of it for now. And I'm so sorry for the ways that beautiful work really can hurt. But in this energetic container that I'm building in this tuning, if you can sort of come back in from the new front and get triaged and get supported so that you can go back out in the maintained state of your new coherence, that's how we're going to get then all of us, because we're all in this together. We are all interconnected, and despite our individualistic mindset, we are all interdependent. Yeah, God, God. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Susan's, I have a teacher, he says, within the heart of stillness is great movement, and that within movement is the heart of stillness. Yeah, yeah. I'm reading some live comments there. Yeah, it is both, right? It is both. The image that I just got was of that laughing Buddha. He can be quite right, quite corpulent, quite rotund. And you imagine a laughing Buddha, like how peaceful. And like even when he ceases to laugh, right, there's still movement in his belly. That that is both at peace, right? Where there's a stillness in that, even that concept, at peace, which is what the Buddha incorporates. And yet the laughing Buddha, you can't, laughing Annie Lamott, right? Laughter is carbonated holiness. That is true. That is true. Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'm going to do some harmonics here to really shine up this container, like a Faraday cage, or like the soundproof chamber on on Family Feud, right? It's like you can just come into this video, right? You can come into this little safe harbor when you need to sidebar and like integrate. Yeah. And the sort of last question that I hear is like, okay, but as I integrate, like, what do I do next? Like, how do I do this? And sort of like I was called to breathe into my back body in the beginning. It's like that's how you do it. That's your next best step is to breathe. Breathe it into the body. And then notice where you're led, right? You don't do a thing. Notice where life is arriving you. In that way, there is a passivity that we are ill-informed to understand and to receive. The action is to follow where you're led. It's not a top-down decision and mandate. Yeah, clear as mud. I know, and that's how it hit, y'all. That's how it roll. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I love you too. Oh, yes. Yes. Mm, mm, mm. Right on. All right. All right, you guys. That's the end of this video. It has been a joy. I will just continue to be here doing this. Please reach out, RebeccaCarner.com, if you need to connect in any way. I'm here, and I'm going to be here. I curse so much less on these videos than Rebecca does in IRL. And I curse more in this video than I typically do because the way this is all showing up lately, it's like all these sort of silly conventions are just falling away. So I didn't do it to be offensive. I did it because it's just been balls out lately. And so here we go. And I'm going to say it just like that because that is how I roll. Oh my God, it is with so much love, you guys. I'm here. I'm here. Be well. Keep going. Breathe, drink some water, get outside, reach out to somebody. If you're thinking of somebody, let them know it will be worth it. Yeah, all the things, all the things. Okay, bye.